have a stream for my channel. I had to think about that for a second, okay? Listen, we are Toast Pro Professional. MLG's here. Hi, everybody! We're still talking about random shit, even though we have gone live. Hello! Welcome to the third episode of Mindless Banter's Revival. First one with the new Twitch tag system, which we're all grumbly about. But anyway, so we have all four people again. I say that like we've done so many episodes, but we really haven't. But it still seems like we haven't been able to get all four people in a room, which is sad considering we've done 3 episodes.
Dude, we're at like 50% with all 4 people, so I mean, we're doing pretty fucking good.
I mean, for our track record, yes, but for a professional podcast, no.
There's been 3, so it's 30.
If you want one of those, go somewhere else.
60,
we are a quality podcast, though. That's the important part.
We're
a podcast.
But yes, I figure at this point, we all know who's who. But I just want to announce who's here. I'm Max. You guys all know me at this point. We're going to go around the circle, and you guys probably don't know which order the circle is, so we're going to go right over to a Mr. Sis.
What's up? I'm Sis. I'm also a streamer, and I'm here. So just like Max, you know, great intro. Moving along.
Yeah, I figure we've got enough of the intros. We should just go around so people who hear us know who's here. Cereal, next is you.
I'm Cereal, and I like turtles.
And I'm Trick, and I'm also a streamer.
But do you like turtles is the important question today.
Turtles are pretty cool.
Just pretty cool? How dare you?
But have you heard about mine turtles?
I haven't even messed with 13, honestly, yet, so... No, not really. Like, I've seen them, but... That's about all I got.
But until you can program them to do shit for you, I don't really care.
They're not Meeseeks or turtles, bro. Oh! I'm picking up what you're putting down. Took me a second.
Picking up what I'm putting down.
I'm very disappointed in myself that it took me that second. But I got what you meant. He's talking about turtles like from Computer Craft, guys. Minecraft mod.
I'm still lost.
Let's just say at least 3 of us here have been avid Minecrafters before. And then there's that one noob.
Hey, I am an avid Minecrafter. I just haven't played that one.
I mean, that was... No, modded Minecraft. Very heavily. I've seen play a little bit of modded. And, oh, no, it wasn't even you. I think I was yelling at Gammy, not you. Sorry, I'm getting the Noodle King confused.
I know, all noodles look alike, honestly.
That's racist.
I was waiting, A, for that to be racist, and B, for Cereal to try to incorporate that into something else, which we were all going to yell at him for.
Nope, I'm being good today. I'm turning over a new
Only
leaf.
today?
It's never going to last, so yes, only today. Be lucky that you're getting that much. I've known him for years. I don't even get that kind of promise out of him. So...
Oh, that wasn't a promise. That was just a statement.
Oh, it was wishful thinking. Anyways. Oi, alright, let's dive right into our very slow news week, because we are in that, like...
No, what are we playing this week?
Right, what are we... Listen, my professionalism is through the roof. Okay, I've had a lot of coffee, and I've had no alcohol today, so it's a very different vibe for me in the stream.
Do we need to get an outline?
We probably should, but we're not that professional.
Get him some, like, note cards so he can sit there and read off of them.
I can tell you exactly what I played this week, because I played pretty much nothing but... Get out of here with your note card. I just realized what you're doing over there. Go away. I have pretty much played nothing but a lot of Guild Wars 2. I am kind of obsessively sucked back in. I have probably dumped an additional 40 hours this week alone. I beat both the DLC, or both the expansion packs on 2 characters. I've leveled up a guild, like 30 levels. I've kind of gone a little nuts. Well, I found, because I have crazy insomnia, as some of you probably know, and I found an Australian guild that was like just starting up, and I've been playing that game since literally 3 or 4 days before the game came out. So I was just like, all right, let's fucking make this guild a guild. And I like started taking us all on these guild missions and like power leveling us and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I was just like, I'm sucked into it. I might as well, really get sucked into the experience. Get the new kind of like from start to finish experience.
Yeah.
How
Sounds fun.
about you, buddy? What have you been playing since?
I've been playing a lot of Total War Shogun 2, harkening back to that 2007 strategy vibe, and I'm loving it. I don't know why I stopped playing it. Great. Now we got a copyright strike. Thanks, Max.
It's a cover and it's legal.
But yeah, I've been playing tons of Total War Shogun 2, really. That's about it. Just loving the shit out of it.
Do you have a Switch?
No, I don't have.
Oh man, it's like Civ came out on there. And
Who
it's
has
like
a Nintendo
the
Switch?
perfect place to
Only
play Civ.
assholes have one of those. Okay. Completely wrong direction on the stream. I want to point that out. You're literally just pointing off the stream. You're just like, yes, man, that edge of the screen is a dick.
Why do you get somebody in chat?
Yeah, that guy in particular.
Yeah, you were pointing that way too, like right towards where chat would be regularly.
Yeah.
So what did you play, Serial?
My answer stands the same as last week. Just fucking Horizon Zero Dawn, just all day, every day, and more Luminous. I mean, it's been the same thing for like a month now.
I don't know if I'm proud or disappointed.
Well, I don't have as much time to play the video games as I did in the past, so like it's taken me forever to get through Horizon. Like I would have probably burnt through that in a few days before, and now it's a couple months.
Fair. It's one of the reasons I got sucked into MMO, because I was just like, hey, I can spend a lot of time with that, not worry about like going through a game that I won't be able to play on stream. And it doesn't really matter where I leave it off, because it's an MMO. It's always online. It's always there. So
Yeah.
the world's gonna happen whether I'm there or not.
Yeah, pretty much. So new season of Diablo 3 started there last week, so I've been playing a lot of that.
So what's the gimmick this?
I was gonna say, what are the goodies?
Double bounties, double bounty rewards.
Double. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's nice. Not have to go through that grind. For...
Oh my god. Yeah, so every time you do a full set of bounties, you get double the caches, so you actually get a decent amount of resources pretty quickly. So they're actually decent to do, not just an obnoxious grind.
Dude, the double goblins last season were pretty fun. I mean, I would have really been excited if I didn't already have all the pets, like to get. Like...
I don't care about the pets. I want my double rainbow goblin so I can get my friggin' wings that I've still been grinding for seasons and seasons. If you guys don't know, there are wings in Diablo 3 called the Cosmic Wings, which you have an incredibly rare chance to A, get the portal to open to the area that you can get them in. So it's like a 10% chance.
It's a 5% chance.
It's like something like that. And then it's like a 2.5% chance within that 5% chance that you can get that one particular item to spawn. I have been doing it for ever. It's Whimsydale or Whimsyshire. One of them you can summon, one of them is literally only a random chance. And it's only the random chance one that you can get the item.
Right?
Yeah. It's Whimsydale through a portal that is spawned by a rainbow goblin, which is a 5% chance for that portal to spawn. And it's a 2 or 2.5% chance for a particular boss mob to spawn in that rift. And if you kill that boss mob, then it drops the item.
Dude,
100% though.
That sounds like how my mom gives me fucking directions to go anywhere. Like that just sounds way too much.
Yeah, so it's something like a 0.00001% chance.
So huge chance.
Fabulous!
Oh, yeah, they're gorgeous.
Oh, they look so good. I want them. I want them really badly. I do. Like, there's a reason I keep working towards them.
Fair enough.
They just taunt me. They're always out of my grasp.
You gotta redirect that Guild Wars 2 energy into D3 energy, man.
But the thing with Guild Wars 2 is when I get really sick of not being able to get my friggin' drop, I can go do 300 other things. Diablo, it's literally, I can rerun the same 10 things, maybe.
No, man, you can go work on your gear, dude. Come on.
By rerunning the same 10 things. You get the same stuff the same way. It's like, oh, I can leave the game and come back and do all those again. Whoa!
But you can up your torment level, and then they're the same things but harder.
Gonna slap you.
Yeah.
That was not a good argument. I don't think.
I mean, I won, so
No, you did not.
in my head I did. So fuck
I
you.
You won just based on
Sympathy,
like-
got ya.
yeah,
Sympathy.
sympathy.
I'll take it.
Any win's a win in your book?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's like Serial's life motto: is any hole's a goal. So,
Yep.
I mean,
Fits, it sits.
Are you a cat?
not a cat, but he likes that
I'm a dog
pussy.
person.
Anyway, moving right on.
I fair.
How we do it. All right. So, anything else? Any new stuff? I'm going to assume that's a big old no. So we're going to jump right into the news then. Starting with the very exciting, if you happen to play Fortnite and also have a PS4 news. I mean, it's exciting just to see Sony finally breaking down on this very strict policy they've had. But Fortnite for the PlayStation 4 is finally getting cross-platform play. The last system, including the Switch, to get it. And it's, I believe, the first one they're really allowing full cross-platform play on. First game in general on the system that they're allowing that on.
Yeah. So,
They've been getting a lot of blowback from, especially once Fortnite came out and you couldn't do crossplay. You know, they were getting shit prior to that, but it really came to a head with Fortnite. So it's good to see it finally happen. Like they were the last holdout there, right? Like Microsoft was a big holdout for forever, and they finally came out.
Well, basically what they said is, and I don't know exactly what they broke down on. They're obviously not giving all the information right off the bat. But basically what they were saying is they had deals with the people, the publishers they had made. Part of their contracts with them prohibited it in the beginning. So they would have to go and rework all of those contracts with all the different all the different publishers and distributors on their console. So obviously that's BS because every other system can do it. Even Nintendo, who's usually, you know, stick up their ass company out of all of them. But...
Well, and it just sounds like to me that's just like an excuse from them because, you know, they've been coming out for the past few months saying, no, we don't want cross-play because we want to be able to control the user experience, blah, blah, blah. So now that this comes out, now they've got a different story altogether. It just sounds like bullshit to me.
Yeah.
Well, when the CEO of Sony literally said, we don't want cross-platform play because we're better. The amount of blowback alone for that statement that they got, including like major developers like Bethesda, is what really broke it down. I'm happy that cross-platform play is coming in some capacity to the Sony PlayStation. I think it's only an open or a closed beta for Fortnite, and then it's launching.
Is it open beta right now?
For more games? Oh, is it open beta? Okay.
It's more like their cross-platform stress test because clearly Sony never does this. They have to figure out how they can handle it because they're so far behind even Nintendo on their little portable dinky system. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Switch, but let's be fair here. If the fucking Switch, if this thing right here can handle it, a PlayStation 4 should be able to handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it's a win for the publishers, right? Because you look at like games when they get a little long in the tooth and you don't have a huge player base anymore. Now you can, you know, lump in all those platforms together, and those games can survive a little bit longer.
Yeah. It's about time. It's
it really is.
Now all I have, you had to say survive, and all I can think of is the meme: improvise, adapt, overcome. And that Bear Grylls meme. Oh, sorry, my brain. I've been spending too much time on the Imgers in the late nights, so.
All the dank
Sounds like
memes.
it, man. You're just a walking, talking meme at this point, huh?
My life has been nothing but Bongo Cats and Bowsette for the past, week.
I love Bongo Cat, dude.
I've loved Bongo Cat. Bongo Cat's been around since March, man, and I've loved it then. I'm so glad it blew up and got all these other things. Like even one of my viewers, or I'm not, she doesn't directly watch me because she's more a fan of PG streamer, but she knows I happen to be a fan. She's part of communities I'm part of, and she knows I'm a fan of Myst, and she sent me. There's even a Myst one where he's playing the little Myst intro song and everything like that, and I was like, yes.
if you were a
That's
Gimbo, you'd
amazing.
be like the douchebag guy with the hat. That would be you.
I'm always the douchebag guy with the hat.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see you with it. I can see you with the trucker cap on.
I have a fedora nearby. Would that work?
Ooh,
Milady.
It's my Oktoberfest fedora, the one that I literally don't even remember buying. I just woke up with from an Oktoberfest with T-shirts, beer soap, a stein, a metal sign, and a fedora, and I was like, clearly I had a good
Is it a
time.
fedora or is it a fucking trilby or whatever the hell that other hat is?
No, it is a
Calls
fedora because the difference is literally whether it curls up in the back.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, technically, I guess it's more like one of those weird German, like the ones where they have like the fucking
The
Lederhosen?
feather
where they do the
lederhosen?
dances and everything. Yeah, the crazy. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be like a German Oktoberfest kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
just the way you described that was so perfect.
That's me.
It's so perfect.
Although you doing that like German dance, I'd more picture like a leprechaun, but
Not to me, Lucky Charms. Anyway, now that we've offended several cultures in the past 5 minutes, that's
So
Or
we're
at
par
least
for the
3,
course.
right?
pretty much what we do. Here's the big one. Here's the sad one. And this one, I'm gonna segue into my story, my little personal anecdote after that. But let's talk
is it
about.
not Toad?
It's never gonna be about Toad. Never, ever,
God.
ever. But for those of you who don't know, no. God damn it, no. I opened this specifically beforehand, so it didn't. And it's still doing it. I even closed the tab.
Hey guys, and welcome back
Professionalism,
Mute
ladies
the
and
tab.
gentlemen.
to
Mute the
2.0.
tab.
I don't even see the tab. It like restarted itself like in the background because I opened it into second place, and even though I closed the tab, it started playing. I just closed it.
Oh my God.
Somebody decided to pick a source from the worst site ever. I just want to point that out. It was not me. But anyway, news story is, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard this very sad news, although when you think about it, not that unexpected, that Telltale has shut down as a company. They're shutting down. They have fired pretty much all of their people. They're working on with a skeleton crew on the last of their series, including
Walking Dead season 3.
Walking Dead season 3. There's talk that they might be continuing some of the other stuff in the background with the skeleton crew because they're under contract for that. And I think they're worried about some of the other information, so they don't want to lose any money. Because they have also been had a class action lawsuit brought against them because of California's hiring laws and the mass fire-offs without warnings for retraining and things like that. But yeah, a lot of things have been canceled, and it's quite sad.
Well, and a bunch of people left a few months back, or maybe a little longer, but due to the working conditions there, it apparently wasn't a pleasant place to work.
Yeah. That's the first I heard about what was going on in the background at Telltale, and honestly, this entire story caught me. I was one of the few that got caught completely off guard because I just hadn't heard about it. But after reading the article and hearing about the things that happened in the last year, it wasn't that surprising after reading that.
Well, they came out and said, they just took on way too many IPs. It was like anything that was remotely popular. Telltale's like, we're gonna make a game.
Well, they were taking on too many IPs, and the problem was they took on so many, and they were releasing so many games that were essentially the very, pretty much the same feeling game, just with different characters in them. And then
they've been using the same engine all along, and it was getting long in the tooth, right? Like that Batman one that came out had performance issues. I don't even know how you have performance issues on a game like that, but it did, where the frame rate would dip to next to nothing. Like, how?
That seems to be a common theme with Batman games on the PC. Look at it, you Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Batman. It has nothing to do with the engine. It's I'm Batman. Don't have your fucking frame.
Too much black for the fucking graphics cards to render.
They literally could just render nothing there. Just leave it the black background and it'd be fine. Just make little frames there.
Totally cutting his voice out, saying too much black, and I'm definitely not doing anything with it.
Oh, fuck.
And that's par for the course.
Talk about out of context.
Oh my God.
Phrasing. Anyway.
Please do not do that. We're not doing phrasing anymore. Archer's canceled, man.
I'm still doing phrasing. Okay, phrasing is amazing.
We're...
But yeah, as we mentioned, they didn't have very good working condition. They were let off massive amounts of people en masse without any warning. Before they announced the studio closing, which is also very illegal, at least according to California law. I can't. What is it? The
Warn. Just Warn. W-A-R-N.
yeah, but yeah. So now there's a class action lawsuit against them, which is fun.
They might be screwed.
Might be. They're already shutting down. I mean, I think they're screwed. This is just somebody fucking the wound at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, I meant about the lawsuit. They might be screwed. There's a stipulation in the law that they might be able to use to get out of it, but we'll see.
I'm just sad to hear about it because I really enjoyed the Telltale games. Like I like narrative walking simulator-y, all those types of games.
I mean, that was less walking simulator.
You, like they.
But...
no, I mean, but it's a narrative game without much gameplay, right? So
yeah,
kind of gets lumped in that category. I really enjoyed the Walking Dead ones. Tales from the Borderlands was really, really good.
Funny, I can never get through that one.
No? Yeah, it has a slow start.
I'm going to go back and give it a try, especially since I've been getting obsessed with, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this last week, but I've been super obsessed with Critical Role. I've been getting all caught up with it, because I was one of the really late to the party people where everybody kept telling me to watch that, and then I finally watched it, and I'm like, why did I take so long to watch it? Because it's voice actors from, like, video games that I love doing nerdy D&D shit. It's like, hits me right in my nerd cockles, okay? It gets me right down there. Maybe even down in the subcockles. But,
Even a soul.
I was hoping you were going to pick up on that Dennis Leary reference. But, yeah, I know, I believe Laura Bailey has a character. She's one of the main characters in Tales from the Borderland. And she's great at voice acting. And I think Mercer actually has one in one of the episodes, too. Although I don't think he's a main character. But,
no, but he's done plenty of stuff.
Oh yeah, no, that I know. That part I know. But
he's very prolific.
See, the issue with Telltale for me is because they were all so Telltale, I guess the best way to say it. They were all like the point and click adventure games, but they were all the very same feeling of point and click adventure games. Like I bought the Humble Bundle, and I think I've touched maybe. I mean, I loved the ones I played. I loved The Walking Dead, and I loved The Wolf Among Us was fantastic. I think that's one of my favorite games in recent years because I love that.
Of which they were supposed to be working on a second one for that, and that's one of the ones that got canceled when they got shut down.
Although to be fair, I think I am a little biased there because I also like the original Fables comics that they were based off of. So, grain of salt.
Like the Walking Dead ones hit you right in the feels, right? Like they had a really, really good story to them.
Yeah.
Which is good for me, which I like because I hated The Walking Dead show. I thought The Walking Dead show was really stupid. Well,
I still haven't watched it.
The Walking Dead show, my opinion on The Walking Dead show, it's good up until a point. And they stray so far from the comic, and they're clearly trying to make their own like way at some point. And at one point, they just end up in this weird like governor cannibal dictatorship like storyline, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching? This is the dumbest thing. This is not a zombie apocalypse. This is like.
For the record.
Good.
For the record, that was actually in the comic.
Yes, but not as stupid as it was there, even a little bit.
No, like the Telltale ones follow the comic, right? Like they're
in the comic world. They interact with people in the comic, but they're not directly any of the storylines that are in the comic, I believe.
The dude, and I forget his name that was in this show. He was from the comic and the show, and it was kind of like the first season was part of his like pre-comic story, basically. I can't. The somewhat nerdy dude that marries the chick that gets preggers.
Oh, I think his name is like Glenn, the Asian guy.
Yeah, Glenn. So his character is in the season 1 when at the very end he like leaves in a car.
I totally didn't just get really distracted thinking about the girl he's with. Anyway.
On the show, that chick is still Prager's. How does that even fucking work? Like, she got pregnant like 6-7 seasons ago.
I'm sure they're planning a really stupid Walking Dead style storyline where it's going to come out as a zombie because it's
Zombie.
The Walking Dead.
I was about to say,
But I mean, even if you
hybrid.
follow like the amount of time gone by, like she's been Prager's for years now. Like,
No, it's
kinda-
only the last like 4 seasons have only been like a month.
But like they went through seasons in the first like few after she got
Oh
pregnant.
yeah,
They had like a winter.
they went through
and a-
months the first couple, then they slowed it right down.
I don't know. Like I said, I dove out of there during the whole cannibal storyline. I was like, nope, I'm out. This is dumb. I don't know what's happening. I don't care to know what's happening. Like, it's bad when I just don't have the energy to pretend to try to figure out what's happening. So.
All right, next on the Walking Dead podcast, Daryl, fuckable
Oh my god.
We poll the viewers after this short break. But yeah.
This is the new Talking Dead.
You're talking there.
Listen, if we had half the viewership of The Talking Dead, I'd be happy. We need that Chris Hardwick money.
Yeah.
That Nerdist money, man. Oh, they make the good bucks. Anyway, what about any? You guys play any of the other Telltale games? Any of the more obscure ones? Because there's a whole lot that came out. Like, I tried out.
The Back to the Future one.
Oh,
It
yeah!
wasn't that good.
Well, the Back to the Future one, to be fair, was in that early period of Telltale before they really started to hit their stride. Because they also touched, sadly, they touched one of my favorite IPs of all time, and it made the worst out of all of them of all time, which is saying something. Considering
Jurassic Park.
No, although I don't know how that one was, but they touched Monkey Island, and I love the original. I love the original LucasArts Monkey Island, and again, that was from that same like the Strong Bad game, the Back to the Future game, the Monkey Island game. All that was in that like early days of Telltale before they really started to get their like stride. They've started to understand to push forward as a narrative instead of like this engine, but old school point and click mechanics.
Yeah.
Which was a weird way to go. I'm glad they fixed it, but clearly they didn't fix it enough.
We need a new point and click game to come out that like goes in the old style where all the solutions to shit makes no fucking sense in any world.
What are you
ever.
talking
just
about?
go get
Okay,
shit and click
listen.
on everything.
Rubber Chicken with the pulley in the middle was clearly the smartest. Oh, no, wait, hold on. You want to talk about obscure? What game was it? Which one was it? The Broken Sword game, the infamous goat puzzle. You remember that one?
Yeah.
It's an infamous puzzle where you had to like, oh god, I can't remember what the solution was. You had to like convince the goat to go away with. I'm trying to remember. It was so convoluted. Even having played through it several times and watched videos about how it's the most convoluted story, I can't remember what it was. It was just.
Yeah. But that was point and click games back in the day, right? They were all completely convoluted. It was like, oh, you bought this game and we want to make sure you get 10 hours worth of play out of it. So we're going to make it make no fucking sense so that it takes you 10 hours because you'll get every item and click on every fucking thing on every scene with every item to try to figure it out.
One of my personal favorites is the Discworld game from back in the day. I don't know if you remember that game. But you had to.
I don't think I ever.
There was a point where you had to. Basically, there's a dragon, and you have to like get a bunch of gold items to like. I don't remember if it's to lure the dragon out or like parlay with the dragon, whatever it was. But it's not like all the actual gold you can find in the game. It's like super weird, obscure item, and one of them happens to be this dude's gold belt buckle. And it's not normal, like, take it off of him or sneak it off of him. You have to make him really ill. You have to give him all these laxatives. You have to find a squid. You have to make the squid very horny. You have to stick it in an outhouse. And the squid basically has to take advantage of the guy so you can take off the belt off of his pants under the outhouse
It's a
door.
typical Friday night, really.
And it was just like, what? Why?
Why do you think that's so weird? That's the classic squid play, man.
Squid and the wee wee. Like,
Yeah.
don't you ever
I feel like you all watch way
You
too
read the
much
book?
Japanese porn. That this is so
Terry Bradshaw,
atypical.
they're right in the book. It was right there in Discord.
Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah,
I think you mean
Or
Pratchett. You went a complete,
I don't even know where I came up with Bradshaw.
very different Terry there.
It's his cousin.
Clearly, you are mistaken, sir.
Terry Bradshaw.
Oh lordy.
Awesome.
But see, from now on, whenever you play a game and you need to get a belt buckle, you just need to go for the squid, man.
And the aphrodisiac.
Sure, just go for the squid.
And the aphrodisiac.
That's the essential.
You've got a game plan forever now.
I don't think I do. I really hope I don't need to have that game plan ever. It's also a thing.
Everybody needs
No.
a game plan.
No, we don't.
Everybody needs a game plan, man. Everybody needs a game plan. Like the speedrunner that had a game plan and beat the fucking bots in speedrunning Super Mario Bros.
Man.
Cheesy segue! I like it. I can get behind that.
Dude, I watched that last night. That run is amazing. Like
It's
that
pretty
you
crazy.
can beat a fucking pass, like, or not beat, but tie the task for Super Mario. Like in a game that, dude, they made like the record for that game. Not this time when it got beat, but I think 2 times ago or something. Had stood for fucking years, and then they just came back, found some new tech, shaved a few frame rolls off the game. Like, it's insane, like how optimized that game is.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
pretty insane.
yeah. It's one of the reasons why I balk at the idea. Every time you hit any of the games done quick, I'm always like, I should try speedrunning. And then I look at how much these games have been optimized and perfected over the years. I'm like, I do not have the next 12 years of my life to dedicate to this one game to save like 0.3 milliseconds off of that. I'm like, no.
Right.
It would have to be like a brand new game where like everybody's learning the strategy.
Really obscure. It's like something nobody else is gonna speedrun, so you can just have the record. And there was one like and it got big now. People speedrunning on Twitch. It's this fucking Barney Kids game that they've got like all this tech for and shit.
The fuck?
People will speedrun anything.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but
I've been watching a lot of Celeste speedruns, and that's just crazy.
Those are pretty good, yeah.
Well, Trick and I have a buddy.
I follow.
What do we think of this? Yeah.
Well, I actually watched the world record holder, and just the way he does stuff is just ridiculous. Like,
the one I've been having fun
how did your brain figure this out?
Watching the progression of Mario Odyssey since it came out, right? Just like them, being able to watch it as it happens, like being able to go through and just shave a little bit off, here and there, like has been pretty cool. Like,
Oh yeah,
It's definitely interesting to watch. I just don't know
Yeah.
if I have that kind of patience to sit there and run the same game over and over again.
well,
Optimizing
I don't have
those
the
strats.
talent to do it, so I'm not even gonna fucking try. But it's fun to watch other people.
See, I think I would
The amount
have.
of patience and skill. The amount of patience and skill required to do speedrunning is quite substantial.
We talked about me liking to save scum. Now, if you let me save scum and speedrun, I'll do that shit.
I mean, you could do an in-game time speedrun, technically.
I mean,
still.
TAS is like my ultimate fucking thing, right? That's what I need to do is go do tasking, because that's just save scumming every frame.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think I would be okay with doing a newer one where I was trying to break it, like glitch-wise. Like, glitches I'm great at finding. I used to be obsessed with that. Like, back in the Halo 2 days, I would be, like, on every single map, going through floors, making giant versions of myself in the sky. No, that's not a joke. Just all sorts I learned how to butterfly, like, jump all the way across the map. We could literally fly from point A to point B across the map. Like, I was obsessed with finding glitches. Plus, I used to do some games testing. So that stuff I could do. I just don't know if I could dedicate purely glitch-free time to, like, literally, here's a frame-perfect jump, or, like, here's, the difference of, like, 0.09 femtoseconds of my fucking run. I just don't have that kind of, like, precision and patience to deal with that.
Yeah.
I can't take the disappointment, man. I'd get down there and like choke at the end, and I'd just start fucking crying. That's just what
I'm just imagining you at AGDQ at like 3 in the morning.
I just imagine him playing his cookie clicker and he's like, someone beat my world record. No!
Except his cookie clicker would literally just be him sitting there going, yeah, so this is cookie clicker. I just programmed it to run these clicks and buy these things. I programmed auto hotkey, so it's very TAS.
Oh yeah, man. Auto hotkey is the only way to play Cookie Clicker.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I should go pull it up right now.
I know, man. We can be like dual cookie clicker streamers.
Yes. We need to do a split screen speedrun race of Cookie Clicker.
Cookie clicker first to
Except,
10
I
quadrillion
feel like
bajillion cookies.
all it would take is one Java argument implemented, and then boom, I win. So,
Yeah, you just give yourself all.
I was gonna say literally just one little command you could do with Control F12 and pop it in there.
No, that's
Just
not
call the
fair.
category. Nailed it.
You can't do that, man. That's not fair. That's-
Listen, if you're allowed to run
No.
friggin' programs that do it for you, then it's just as cheaty.
No console
No.
commands. That's the rule.
Yeah, exactly. No console command.
Okay, that's fine.
Everything
I
still
can
has to
hack
click.
the clock, and I don't need a console command for that. I can do tool assisted with that too. Hello, cheat engine with 500 times speed. Don't give me that dirty look.
like
I
it,
like my hex editors. Okay, I like poking them with sticks.
Yeah.
God.
Cheat engine is fun.
It's a great little easy to
I've never
poke
used it.
with hex editor. I never use it for
I mean-
proper things, but it's real good to see how you can break things.
It's the only way to play Payday 2, alright?
I don't want to know what you did to Payday 2.
You really don't. Anyway,
Game is my baby.
so
Alright.
uh,
What's the next news story? I want to come up with the next segue.
go ahead. I'm waiting.
Is that how that works?
Go.
No, I don't have the Google Doc open. I'm not
You're a
done, no.
piece of shit.
Are you kidding?
Actually, I do, but it's no.
So you filthy console peasants out there, you'll finally be leveling up a little bit, because Xbox One is getting official mouse and keyboard support next month.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see the bitching that comes out of that, just because like everybody that gets owned now and be like, oh, that fucker was using a keyboard and mouse, right? Like,
What did you? They're actually,
That's
I know at least because PlayStation 4 has a peripheral that allows you to do that, and they're now officially separating out users who are using that peripheral, like it detects it, from the people who use regular controller now. Like that's how
as
bitchy
they
people will
should,
get it.
right? Because it's just
Yeah,
not
they should.
it's not a fair fight when keyboard mouse versus controller.
Oh my! You
Although,
want to talk
like,
about?
They had a celebrity tournament for Overwatch, Twitch thing, and the dude that won it fucking was using a controller.
Fair.
That's
You want to talk about unfair though? Did you ever watch the just ownage that was happening when PUBG Mobile came out? Because people were running it through the Android emulator. So like people were trying to like play on their phone. It was like boop 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 and winner chicken dinner.
That's amazing.
Oh, I even loaded it up on my emulator because I have the emulator on my computer, and I was just like, let me just see how easy this is. And it was literally like game number 1 was a chicken dinner, and I was like, well,
Yeah, I saw some pictures and some setups because people were actually hooking like keyboard and mice up to their tablets. And
oh yeah, you can
shit,
just
too,
do
and
that with an
doing
OTG port.
Yeah.
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 But it was just like, this is unfair on an unprecedented level.
It's ridiculous.
This is abusive.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think Microsoft should put out like a keyboard mouse combo and just call it the Get Good bundle.
It would work too because Razer's making the official Microsoft Xbox keyboard and mouse.
Of
so
course.
Razer-
Yeah, we
Razer
said get
would
good.
release it.
So
Yeah.
it can't be good if it's Razer. I'm sorry. It'd be overpriced. But I have opinions. I have strong opinions about overpriced.
I noticed
I
you
thought
have
you
an
said I
opinion.
have a Pentium. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I have a Pentium 4, okay? Listen, it's overclocked,
turtles.
liquid nitrogen. I like turtles. Moving on.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, no, it's
Alrighty then.
Razer is just so overpriced for the crappy quality you get. As somebody who literally follows like mechanical keyboards, Reddit and everything, like watching somebody go out and be like, I want a really nice mechanical keyboard, and then like trying to talk them through all these good stuff, and then have them go, I'm just gonna go buy a Razer. They're just like,
So it's the guy right now that's like, not you, but me, that's fucking actually using a Razer keyboard because my Logitech mechanical, I dumped coffee all over it, and I had to buy a keyboard in town, and it was the only mechanical I could buy in town.
I'm currently using a Razer mouse.
All right, guys. Mindless Banter has just dropped down to 2 hosts. We are looking to fill the positions, though. If you are interested, please send an email to mmaxamms@gmail.com.
Attach your
Fine,
pictures
I'll
of
put
your
my-
Logitech gear only.
Logitech, or really anything that's not Razer.
Oh, dude, I love the Logitech shit because the software is so fucking good, and just being able to run all your shit on that one piece of software is so
I
nice.
love
Like,
Logitech. I
prior to
have
this
the,
keyboard, everything I had was Logitech.
I have one of their flight sticks that I found in somebody's garbage, but it's a great flight stick.
I've had issues with the Logitech software. I love Logitech and I love their software. Until the most recent like G Hub that they came out with, my webcam settings would reset every single time I restarted my computer. There was no workaround either. They just always reset.
The best Logitech thing ever is my computer thinks my Logitech camera is a bootable device. So if it's plugged in when I reboot my computer, it tries to boot off my webcam. So I just hold up a picture of Windows and I'm good to go.
It's my serial key right here. We're ready.
Oh my god.
How in the world?
It just sits there trying to boot if it's plugged in. And I went online to look up why does this fucking happen. It's like, yeah, it thinks it's a bootable device.
That's so
awesome.
stupid.
Well, why don't you go into your BIOS and change it from a to a non-bootable?
I just get those note cards you had, and like they got 1s and 0s written on them, and I just have a copy of Windows like that, and I just 1, 2, 3.
Speaking of that, did any of you guys see? I know it was on Reddit the other day. It was probably a week or 2 ago. But there's like companies still ordering like Windows 10 on floppy disk, and they showed like the company getting the floppy disk, and it's like this huge package that's like this long, and it's like, could you imagine how long it takes to install that?
Oh man.
Like all 3-point fly floppies.
So I work
They
for a
hold,
place we
like-
sell shit to the government, and we still sell fucking ink cartridges for tractor-fed dot matrix
I
printers.
was gonna say, let me guess, dot matrix.
And we still sell the paper because like the government still uses that shit. Like I started working, I'm like, what are these fucking ink ribbons for? I'm like, oh, those are for the printers over there. And I'm, really? And they still work.
Yeah, they still work.
What the fuck, man?
I bet you still get that little nostalgic feeling whenever you hear them go off, though. Because like, there's nothing like that
Oh, yeah.
dot matrix sound when it's printing out.
No, I'm just thinking the dot matrix like music compilations.
Oh, that guy that does the Flopatron thing, man.
Oh, I love the
Cool.
Flopatron. They're so cool. People.
I have something to look up on the.
Oh my God, you've never
That's my
seen
new
them?
porn star name, by the way. I'm the Flopatron.
Always in constant need of a fluffer. The Flopatron.
Oh god.
But they're great. It's literally a dude. He gets like this series of like floppy disk drives, and he has them like try to read things at different speeds in different locations, so they play music. They're really cool.
That's amazing.
And he adds in like a printer every now and then and some other tech shit that makes
Like a
noise
fax
that-
machine or something. Yeah, there's all sorts of old stuff that does it, but it's pretty. There's some pretty sweet ones, honestly.
That's pretty awesome.
Pretty sure that of course there's like a Giles theme. I've seen the Game of Thrones theme. Just all sorts of stuff on there.
He's got like on some of them like an array of like 50 or more floppy drives doing that shit. Like it's insane.
A lot of drives, man.
He could like install that version of Windows only putting the disk in like twice.
He just needs to have somebody switch them out after the whole time. That would take him most of the time, honestly.
Oh my god. Why do they still make those?
Companies still use them, man.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
Dude, I actually ordered some ink cartridges for a fucking Commodore 64 printer last week.
Well, that doesn't
so-
surprise me because Commodore 64 has always had that huge like homebrew. Like,
But this is a business using a Commodore 64 and a printer for a Commodore 64.
but it's a Commodore
government
64.
business.
I mean, it's a Commodore 64. That one I can accept.
Government business. No wonder I can never get my fucking like stuff on time from the government. Like they send me files and everything, and it comes like a day before I'm supposed to turn them back in.
It's just processing them still,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
I love the Commodore 64, man. Though, have you seen some dude?
Oh.
Have you seen the dude who literally programmed the full version of Guitar Hero on the Commodore 64 with like a PS2 to serial port, like a bunch of different connections to connect its Commodore, and it actually works with the proper controller and everything, and it plays it through the Commodore's old sound chip. It's ridiculous, and I kind of want to pull out my Commodore and see if I can make it work.
Have you seen the person play fucking Dark Souls 2 with a Guitar Hero
Yes,
controller?
he beat both Dark Souls 1 and 2. I don't know if he did 3, but... Well, I've seen... There's all sorts of crazy ones. I've seen somebody beat it with nothing but the Donkey Kong controller. I've seen it with the Dance Dance Revolution. With the... I was watching live as... what was her name? Pixie something? I can't remember. But she literally beat the entire thing with a Logitech racing wheel on stream live. That was an interesting run.
Yeah.
There's all sorts... It gets really weird with Dark Souls and how difficult you can make it for yourself. Because I have seen, and I'm sure there's a YouTube video out of it, of the dude who added the sensors inside of actual bananas, and he played the entire thing touching bananas, where it would detect when he touched it as an electrical impulse and push that button. So he was like touching various bananas and playing Dark Souls.
I want to see somebody beat it with that controller that they made for Rez. The one that goes in your hoo-ha.
It's supposed to go on your leg, but yes. Considering they called it the Rez Vibrator, they didn't really have a leg to stand on that one. If you guys don't know Rez, by the way,
I want to see Dark Souls with
if you guys
that.
don't know Rez is a fantastic game. Despite the fact that there was a vibrator in the original PlayStation version, Rez is a great game. It is a great, like, if you like old school Panzer Dragoon on the Xbox or on the Sega Saturn or whatever, it's like that, but with like EDM crazy music.
Cool audio.
Yeah.
Shit.
And like as you shoot things, it adds extra layers to the music track that's playing. So it's like this really cool experience. It's like, yeah, you can beat the whole thing in like an hour and a half, I think it is. But like, it's just really cool.
There's a VR version that recently came out, actually, that looks really
There
fun.
is, and there's even, I can't remember who makes it or what the name of it is, but there's an unofficial sequel by the people who didn't have the rights to the original game, but they made another game just like that for like the 360 and the PlayStation 3. It's called something completely different, but apparently it's supposed to be really good too. And I've been keeping an eye out, although clearly not well enough. I can't even remember the fucking name. It's on a wish list somewhere if it pops up cheap, basically.
Somewhere.
Awesome.
Somewhere that will send me an
Good
email.
story, bro.
I know. I am the best. Somebody else want to segue into this one? Because I am very little experienced with this.
So coming up next with another news story. Was that a segue?
Close enough.
All right, so
I like turtles.
you like turtles, yes. So recently, WoW, one of the WoW's community's biggest mod creators, came out and said he was having a lot of problems with his health and everything. He's the mind behind the mod Deadly Boss Mods, which is essential for all high-end raids.
Yeah.
Like the guys who try to claim like world first. Yeah, I see you just nodding there.
That's all I can do, man. WoW is right over my head.
But the reason, one good thing about this is he posted his story on their forum. Blizzard and it was MSI both went together and made him a care package so he can continue to do work on his mods and everything while he's trying to get the treatment, because they got him like a brand new computer, like top end computer, a whole bunch of swag. So, because I do believe it says here somewhere in the article that he was having problems with his computer.
Yeah.
So they gave him a brand new one, top of the line. So that's a big worry off of him, and he's going to use the money he was saving for the new computer to go towards his medical stuff. So
Yeah.
It's pretty good
Really
mod
good.
too.
it is.
Yeah,
It is a good mod. Like I said, if you're a raider in WoW, you have it or its competitor installed.
Fair enough. It seems to be a thing,
Yeah,
or a theme with, I don't know if theme is the right word, but it just seems to me that, like, at least on the larger scale, MMO developers tend to be like to really kind of band together and like help a community out, member out, like if it's a big member of the community who's having an issue. Because I was just reading a story recently about. I know I'm segueing it back to my MMO of choice, but I just happened to be on their Reddit, so I was going through.
All about you, isn't it, asshole?
I mean, bitch, I am running this show, but
I will shut your camera right the fuck down.
and suddenly cereal just gets replaced with a cock and balls. But anyway, no, but like I just happened to be going through the Reddit to see if there's any like cool guides or whatever for like like maximizing your time or whatever, so you can get as much stuff as quickly as possible. I was just looking through the top stuff, and I know in the past couple of months there was a very prominent member of the Guild Wars community whose entire house got set on fire, basically, and like they lost everything, and like their machine and their games and all this stuff, and they literally got them a brand new computer and like every version of Guild Wars signed by like even members of the studio who had left. They banded together and like got them to come back and sign this thing and stuff like that. And they sent them this thing and they were like, let us know when you're back on and we want to have a big in-game celebration. And they did, and they were giving out all this in-game loot too and stuff like that. It's just like I don't know because of the community nature of those kinds of games, they really seem to be a lot more, I don't know, friendly or supportive of their community.
Yeah, supportive,
I guess.
Supportive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Big communities like in MMOs. I always found there like in any bit large community, there's those toxic people, but overall, the supportive nature of the communities is immense.
like Dota.
No.
We all know you're lying, Cyril. It's clearly LOL you were talking about.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
My
God.
bad.
LOL has the most welcoming and friendly community of any game ever.
Yeah.
And I will fight anybody who argues that.
Like, I just log in and people give me hugs. It's pretty awesome,
I know.
honestly. Just salt of the earth people.
It's funny. I don't know what it's like. I'm curious. Is that literally... I know we're joking about that. But is that like a thing in WoW? Because I know... In Guild Wars, literally, I was playing with a new guy who just happens to be a member of a different community I'm a part of, and we were on like last night, or late into the morning, I should say, because I'm crazy insomniac, and he's from Australia, and he literally like met up with somebody while we were having a conversation who like came in and like helped him like do all this stuff and like gave him all this loot and was like, here, just go do this stuff. Here's some stuff to get you started. You should do this, this, and this, and it'll make the rest of everything way easier. And I don't know if that's like a WoW thing too, or because I don't.
Yeah,
It's okay.
that's pretty common practice in a lot of stuff,
Right.
in a lot of MMOs.
I don't play really many pay MMOs. I played Final Fantasy 14 for like a month because I got it for free when I bought the game. I got that month for free and I never paid again because I'm cheap and poor. But and I played WoW in the free trial, and then somebody gave me like a month and I played it, and I just didn't have enough people to play with, and I don't. Again, not dropping $15 a month, but I just haven't really experienced that in any of the other games. So that's why I was just curious.
Everybody is nice and well until you do LFG, and then everything just goes to shit.
LFG or LFR specifically?
LFR, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
LFR.
LFR. Everybody
It's
is
just
so
like
angry. in
Fucking,
LFR.
yeah. Everything falls apart, and it's always your fault. Fucking healer.
Well,
For those of you
yeah.
who don't know, LFR is looking for raid, which is just pug raiding. And any pug raiding, honestly, is just
Amazing.
Bad news.
so good.
It is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say so good.
Amazing.
You,
Yeah,
you meet the
you're
greatest
totally-
characters in those,
Yeah, they're certainly characters.
People just standing in the fucking middle of a goddamn area attack, like, what do you want me to do?
Don't stand in the bad. Rule 1: don't stand in the bad.
Yeah. It's even more.
Thought
sad
this
when
was
you
my
consider-
spotlight, and I was center stage. What's the problem here?
Leroy Jenkins.
It's even more sad when you consider like the guy that does DBM does all of this to help people raid better, and
Yeah.
everybody has it installed when they raid, and then people still stand in random death. Like, how?
When it says "don't stand here," it literally pops up in giant letters on the screen. Do not stand here.
Yeah.
I'll take your guys' word for that. I have no idea.
It's a thing, and loud obnoxious noises too. Like the loud obnoxious noises that happen on the fucking Steam discussion board that Valve is finally moderating.
Damn, another segue. Fucking master O's. We need to get this guy a segue.
It's so
man.
cheesy, and there are no sounds in the discussion boards.
It's nice to see Valve actually fucking doing something, you know? Like
Valve is doing a
taking
lot
an
of things
interest in
all of
the
a sudden
platform.
now, as we talked about last
Maybe
week.
they'll start making video games again. Hey.
Heyo.
No.
I was watching, ironically, it's just a small side note, but I was watching a stream the other day, and they had gotten some sort of like, Valve had offered them a key for this charity stream they were doing for a giveaway. And it was like, it's one of those Valve golden ticket keys where it's like, this gets you everything Valve's ever made and everything Valve ever will make. And somebody on the stream was just like, so this will get you everything Valve's ever made, and that's it. And they immediately got their mic cut off. It's like, and I was just like, I wouldn't have been able to resist either. I mean, writing's on the wall.
That's
Yeah.
elf in the room status.
She's
right
like,
there. That's
oh. Yeah. So apparently, Valve is going to start moderating the Steam discussion board, which I can honestly say I have
Lord Gabe.
never ever taken a look at.
Oh, it's AIDS.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been there before, like while searching for something, but I've never willingly gone there. I've never gone up and I'm going to go take a look at the discussion boards today. It's always like, oh god, I ended up on the wrong part of the internet.
Yeah.
I just hate that.
Yeah. So, yay, they're doing something. They're letting developers off the hook. Because, developers definitely have the manpower to be moderating discussion boards on Steam.
Well, I think the other big problem was like the smaller, like indie developers, the ones that make the completely shite, just trash games, were just going and deleting people's comments when they didn't agree with, it did say, if someone came and said a shit game, they'd, just delete the comment.
I was going to say, there seems to be like it's either like simultaneously, either they don't have the manpower and to deal with things, or they have way too much power and can just override everything to make themselves look really good. And it's like a weird all and nothing simultaneously kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Although with Valve's track history, I don't know how much actual moderation they're going to be doing there, because it's not like they're going to hire more people to do it, because that's not Valve's style, right? Like, Valve is not known for its customer service. So.
Well, I think, I don't see it in here, but I believe what they were talking about in one of the news updates is that they were bringing in like community leaders or whatever, like the people who had to like receive those.
Farm it out for free.
Yeah, basically, just people who want to feel better and have a little thing next to their name that really gives them no power besides the fact
because that really worked when YouTube did it. So I mean, it's gonna amazingly work when Valve does it.
I mean, to be fair, I think every big company has done it at some point. Let's be fair to me and you. I can think of one person specifically, at least, have known some really asshole Twitch staff members as well. So,
yeah, this is true.
It's just,
even if you start giving them a paycheck, doesn't mean they're going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You're just going to let that little bit of power go to their head. That's what it is. Yeah, but I'll be interested to see if it becomes less toxic, and I ever want to look at it. I doubt it, but, fingers crossed for them. I'd like to see Valve make a step in the right direction aside from Steam. I mean, Steam is amazing and it will never be overruled. I mean, never say never, but I'm really hoping never, because I have almost 1,000 games on there, and if my fucking games go away, I will cry.
Yeah, that would be sad.
But that's the thing with Steam. You don't actually own the games. You own temporary licenses to the games. Which is a sad fact that I have to remind people of sometimes.
Releasing them.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time there.
And it's still just as depressing. When I realized that my account is worth like $10,000 at this point. And I don't technically own anything out of it. Steam calculator, you depress me and make me happy all at the same time. Alright guys, I think at this point we're going to go take a little bit of a 5-minute break, get up, stretch your leg, grab some coffee, run to the restroom, do what you gotta do, and we will see you in a few. Oops.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we are back. Hello, hello. Oh god, the screen's on the wrong thing. There we go. Everything magically fixed itself. By magically, I mean I did it. Hi, guys! Suddenly silence. Everybody angrily typing. I can't see any of the typing, by the way, guys. Hi, all! I was talking. I hadn't unmuted mic. It worked perfectly. Listen, there's a lot of buttons to handle on my end, okay? All you guys gotta do is mute and or unmute. I have to deal with everything. And I can't even do the unmute right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you need to get good?
Yeah, shut up. You can talk when you host the stream.
Button to like it interest you in.
You can talk when you host the stream, mofo. You can talk when you host the stream. But yes.
Nope, not fucking happening.
We're not trusting it to you. Nobody would trust it to you.
I wouldn't trust it to me. So.
No. We haven't trusted it for you any of the time. Everybody else has hosted it, even with the old host, and we never trusted it to you once.
Alright, we said fuck off. I ain't doing that shit. So,
we never asked you, so works out.
Oh no, Panther sent me all this stuff, and I went. Dude.
No, okay, sorry. Us intelligent people never asked you. Anyways, let's hop right back into some stories. So, I like this because this is kind of what I predicted from this at the start. YouTube is now shutting down YouTube Gaming. And just opening up as a, I know! Yes, the scandal!
The app I installed and then never opened.
Yeah.
I never even...
I think I only ever looked at anything with it when I accidentally clicked it, and I was like, oh, where am I? Oh no.
What are you? You ugly bastard stepchild, you.
I mean, that was when I turned on the front camera, but also YouTube Gaming.
That ugly ass, like, double chin, triple chin front camera.
Oh yeah, when you're just like, sitting in bed, looking at Imgur or whatever, just like...
YouTube Gaming is the fucking front camera selfie of YouTube.
Yeah.
It is, sadly.
Stuck.
Yeah, it is.
So,
But yeah, now they're opening it up as a separate part of, well, not a separate part, an inclusive part of the actual site. It's going to be youtube.com/gaming. Yeah. Where it's going to include all that, which makes much more sense than making an entirely separate site. It would be like Twitch making an entire IRL app specific instead of, well.
yeah, like calling it Justin TV or something. That would just be fucking stupid.
I mean, you're going the wrong order there, but yeah.
But yeah, I was not surprised about that. We'll see if anybody even cares about it after they change it over. I mean...
Did anybody care about it before?
Exactly.
All the people who watch live streams on YouTube, but that's about it.
Oh, like 6 of them.
Yeah.
They're all excited.
You can go to that without the app. Or
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, you can just go on their page and be like, they're live.
So, yeah.
So, like we said, the 6 people who actually use the app.
Yeah. And to be fair, I've seen a lot of large YouTubers, and they're all migrating over to Twitch. So your Markiplier, your Septiceyes, your Game Grumps, all like the bigger, multi-million people are all just like, screw that, I'm going to Twitch. They're already being screwed over enough with monetization with YouTube that they're not really leaving their streaming over there.
Since it's a discontinued app, make sure you keep it installed, and then you can sell that phone in 10 years.
It's not Flappy Bird.
Everybody will want it.
I think I still have Flappy Bird on like my Arcos, my like 500 gig MP3 player that I had.
It's not a big deal anymore.
No.
People realized you could break the app store to get it downloaded anymore.
No, I didn't save it on there. I just think it's still on there because I haven't touched the thing in here.
Oh.
I like booted it up like 2 months ago and I was like, is this fucking Flappy Bird? Really?
It's got like a stack of Nexus tablets with Flappy Bird on. I'm like, I'm gonna make me some money.
It was Arcos, yeah, it was pretty close.
God. This is my Bitcoin. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank God that's finally fucking stabilizing out too, and graphics cards are going. Well, no, I just mean graphics card because people aren't rushing.
Oh no, there's a new thing that's making graphics cards fucking expensive, and I'm not gonna get political, but we'll just say certain trade deals have made stuff not made in this country expensive, and so the price of a 11 or 2080 Ti is gonna be like fucking $80 more.
I mean, it's a 2080. I didn't expect it to be cheap anyway. It's going to
Like,
drop
even
down
like
all the previous architecture cards, which is what I'm
The
hoping for.
60 series ones will be like $50 more. So
I don't care. I'll upgrade to a 10 series because I don't need to go to a 20 series right away. For the few games, I mean, yes, I'll be excited to see where the ray tracing goes in the future, but
this is basically on almost all PC hardware, right? Anything that's not made in America,
yeah.
for the most part. So shit's gonna get more expensive, kids.
I mean, isn't that the way tech usually goes?
So which trade deal do you think is affecting it?
I'm not allowed to get political here. I'm not
Oh.
allowed to talk about penises and stuff like that. So
Don't make me.
I
You
just
can
won't
talk about penises, just not political penises, man.
No! Do not open that plug-in.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't get the memo.
I know him too well. Do not open that floodgate with him.
I
didn't
smell a
CC me.
loophole.
You didn't CC me in that memo. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
There was a memo?
Always a memo. The memo is do not.
Toad and penis were in there.
The memo is never give him any sort of power. Run it by everybody else first. Do not tell him he's allowed to do something until you run it by the rest of the group. Because I know him very well, and I know where it will end up.
Oh God.
On a
So
list.
sorry.
Let me just say, Serial is part of the reason that we had, 60-year-old men and women reading Craigslist ads that were filthy in our old mindless banter. So, do not give him
Hey,
power.
That's content right there, man.
Oh, it was
Elders
glorious
React is a huge
content.
series.
Not only
yeah,
is there
Elders
content, you know what I should see if we can find for those of you who are just tuning into Mindless Banter, as we've done the reboot. You guys will have no idea what I'm talking about, but when we had the two members of the community, our old community, Mama and Papa 4 read thing, there was one he read where the line started out with "Hi ho diddly bop bop." And that was literally like the pickup line at the beginning of this Craigslist ad. And there's an entire song dedicated to that now. And it's just ridiculous. It's like 3 minutes of EDM and just filthy shit that they read offline. And it's kind of great. And I should see if we can find it so we can have it as our song.
You know, you brought up that Elders React thing, and we could have had a video called Elders React to Frozen Cum Popsicle. Okay, so there's that.
Oh,
That was a real ad we
God,
found.
no.
That was a real ad.
Oh dear.
Why?
Because Craigslist,
Why-
man.
And the thing was, it's for the most part, it didn't matter what city, because we would use a different city.
Oh yeah, we would let the viewers pick
And
the
there was
cities. It would be
fucked up
because
shit
a lot of them would
in
pick up
every
their own
city.
cities. They'd be like, "Yeah, do my city. I'm from here or whatever." And we would look it up, and it was just there was always something just horrific or weird or just why in every city.
Why is Craigslist is just the armpit of the internet?
It's funny because we can't actually do that anymore. We couldn't even do that if we wanted to anymore. Not that we want to, but I'm pretty sure last time, because I went looking up for something, crazy article. It wasn't directly on Craigslist, but it was on one of those best of Craigslist sites or whatever. And apparently, from what I read on there, they got rid of all those things.
Oh, really?
They got rid of all the the personals and stuff like that because I think, despite the fact that they got rid of the escort services section, obviously everybody switched over to whoring themselves out on the personal section. So I think that
If you took Facebook and just condensed it down and then filtered it through a dirty gym sock, that's Craigslist.
yum.
About accurate. Yum.
Yum is not the word you should have used.
Yum is always the word I use.
It's. I mean, I just feel bad for the people who can't buy their frozen cum popsicles anymore.
I know, right? Where will they go for that market, right? These
Yeah.
people, have
Can you
empty
even-
tummies.
There are
Can you even
other
sell
there
that
are
on the
other
Facebook
venues.
Marketplace?
Guys, hit me up on PayPal at maxim.gmail.com.
No, this person was looking for people to come and contribute
remember.
to the pops.
I remember.
Multiple
Oh.
people.
Yes, it had to be several different people. Yeah. Anyways, moving away from that tangent because we entered the old dark. We entered the 4chan of mindless banters. The before Twitch TOS times. Pretty sure we couldn't even do that because of TOS nowadays. But
It's a sad day. Sad day.
I don't know if it's so sad.
Press F to pay respects.
Actually, no, I'm not even going to bring that up because it's just me going back into my game again. But they made a reference to that in the MMO anyway. End of reference. Anyway.
Of course they did.
Because everything made a reference to that at that time. Because the one of their expansions came out like right around the time that Call of Duty came out. So one of the first missions literally has you running around and paying respects to different graves of ancient people. And it says press F to pay
I
respect.
remember that. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of online services, are we competing for segues right now?
Do I smell a segue coming?
You segue that bad boy.
Speaking of online game services, Nintendo Switch's online service is now officially live, which is ironic because I haven't even poked at it yet. I have not touched it. I haven't touched it at all.
I bought it a couple days ago.
I'm poor, so that also doesn't help.
Yeah.
I was pissed off because I thought Metroid was one of those games that was the emulator games, and it wasn't.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah. And then everyone was shitting on it the last couple weeks because there was a whole to do about with the limited cloud saves they do give you, that if you didn't pay your subscription, they immediately deleted them, because that's kind of how Nintendo was going on with that. But now they've come out and said, no, we hold on to them for 6 months. So
Well, there was that, but
there's
they
that.
were
You
also
still can't get to them unless you pay.
they were also talking about how they're a lot of people were annoyed that despite all their talk about cloud saves and stuff like that, they're only allowing them for certain games because they think you're going to be able to cheat if you have them in all your game, despite the fact that the saves are uploaded to the cloud anyway. They should be able to see a modified save like that.
You know, Microsoft, Sony, everyone's been doing it for friggin' years, and
Yeah.
it's Nintendo being Nintendo, right? Like they
It's
just
just paranoid, yeah.
I mean, considering they released a console that literally has an exploit unpatchable built into it, you think they would calm down a little bit.
it's looking like they might be actually trying to build voice chat into the online service too, on the actual device instead of using
Yeah.
the mobile app too, because
Well, didn't
a few of the games that have come out actually, I think Splatoon has it built in. One of them actually has it built in.
I think didn't
And
one of the third party games?
Fortnite has
Fortnite.
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't remember if it was Fortnite or Paladin because they're both on there. But
So the Switch can handle it. So that whole like, oh, use an app on your phone, which then means if you want to use a headset, you have to plug it into your phone and into your Switch. So you just need this rat's nest of.
well, you know why they did that?
cables
Yeah.
Honestly, it's because Nintendo sold out very limited licenses, so you can make. There's a few companies they partnered up with which have
Hori.
which has the Hori. I think the Astro over here does. They just announced it where it's an all-in-one, and you can pay the way more expensive price to get their all-in-one that plugs in the bottom port that does everything. Yeah, Nintendo likes to do that. I mean, granted, it's going to be just like their base. Wait 3 months, and there's going to be 30 companies that are doing it that have figured out how to get around their thing.
Well, and I think it's also because like Nintendo is not super comfortable with the whole voice chat thing, because Nintendo's always had this thing of, oh, we're the family friendly thing, and voice chat is something they can't control. So I think we put it off on this separate app, then we can pretend it's another platform. And
I mean, to be fair,
if shit goes wrong on there, it's another thing. It's not the Switch, right?
I think that went out the window with the
Yeah.
Wii U and the Miiverse. With all the, I saw some pretty bad photos drawn on there, man. I have seen some. Oh my god! In the original
Oh, no.
Splatoon, there was some crazy. Well, I should say just stereotypical Japanese porn, honestly, but involving Spassoon.
There was a thing here recently with Mario Odyssey, that balloon hiding thing that they have in there, where people with hacked switches could just put any picture they wanted in place of like their avatar that shows when you go to find their balloon. So there was lots of porn and shit on there. And perfect.
I think it's perfect. I love it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And just remember, family friendly.
Right.
I am the most family-friendly streamer, always.
But I do think that's why like the whole voice chat thing is separated, just because.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
It's a different platform, and moms and dads can go, oh yeah, you can play this game, but we don't want you doing voice chat, so you're not having the app on your phone or whatever.
Plus, you can have most phones have built-in, much easier for your average parent to understand parental controls that you can set up, because you can set that up as an account thing where you don't even need to touch their phone. You can regulate that via, your Verizon or whatever your service happens to be, kind of thing.
Right.
So I think it's just a lot. There's a lot of reasons for it. As an adult, I hesitate to say mature, but as an adult gamer who can make his own fucking decisions, it frustrates me, but I get it.
Yeah.
Quotation marks?
It's still stupid.
Yes.
But it's understandably stupid.
Like me.
Well, most of the time you're understandable. There's been a few times. We were playing Factorial once, and I still remember you not being very
Listen, okay, it was your fault for agreeing to play Factorio with Very Drunk Max, okay? That was all on you.
That sounds like a you problem, man.
and not turning PvP off on the server, so...
Where I just followed him around, because you don't even need to look at him, you can just hold the shoot button, and...
Come on, man. You wouldn't turn... How could you not turn PvP?
And then I seem to remember, like, you going, hey, do you want to play Factorial one night? I'm like, we've already done this. And you're like, we did? And...
Again,
Yes,
your fault for playing with Very Drunk Max, okay?
You had one job.
Turn PvP off. I've learned this. I don't play anything with him with PvP turned on now. Like, we do a Minecraft server. PvP gets shut off. He still fucking kills me by mining the block underneath me on Skywalk all the time.
Max,
But he
why do you
has
have to be
less
that guy,
options.
man? Why do you just have to be that guy?
Oh, I have to be... I'm not that guy with everybody. I'm that guy with him, because I've known him for so long.
fucking paranoid playing Skyblock with him. I constantly just keep moving because I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die if I stop moving.
Oh, literally, he'll go AFK and he'll have something like, he'll have like an auto hotkey that moves him slightly around. So he's not on the, or he'll stand on like 4 different blocks so he can like hear it fast enough to get over there and move. I've known him for so long at this point. We've known each other for what, like 7 years at this point? 6 years, some ridiculous amount of time? Since back during the Unpros, I mean.
I'm so sorry you've had to deal with him for so long, man.
I know, right? Like, PTSD is a real thing, okay, kids? Like,
Guys, donate today to get cereal that help he deserves.
I had color. I had color.
the
when
link
I met
over
him,
there.
all right? That's all I'm gonna say.
There is no link. Don't go searching for a PayPal donation thing. We do not have that. Let me clarify that. Because if you're donating to somebody, you're donating to the wrong person. Because we don't have one.
Just pick a random person, send him some money.
That's MMAX AMMA. Speaking.
Just happen to have a link to my wallet right here.
Here's my Patreon, my Game Wisp. Speaking of payments, here's a new game that's coming out on PC that's gonna have payments that are gonna piss a lot of people off. Halo Infinite is coming out on PC and is going to have microtransactions and anti-cheat measures, one of which is very understandable. The other one,
When will they learn to start having nanotransactions? People won't be pissed off at that, right?
just a little bit.
A little less, like a tenth.
Yeah, so be like,
I'm just imagining you say nanotransactions. All I can think is like Office Space, like the pennies on the transactions that you don't think about.
Oh, yeah,
The micro
just-
penny.
Oh, yeah, that's it's like a 1 penny for like 1 in-game currency or something like that.
You're like, fuck! I put a decimal point in the wrong spot. We're
You're millionaires, but shit.
$100 transactions. God damn it!
We're gonna see. I don't know. As far as I know, 343 doesn't have a lot of experience with PC and stuff like that. At least Bungie, grew up
Yeah,
on.
none of the Halos have Yeah.
Like they grew up on
And
PC. They
Halo's
did
been
the
on PC
yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
not none of.
Since
I was gonna
343.
say there was Halo on the PC, but that wasn't 343.
Well, and 2 came out too. It was a Vista exclusive.
Yeah, well, 2 came out. To be fair, 2 didn't come out for like 7 years after 2 came out on the original Xbox. On the original Xbox. So it took it a long time before it ever came out. It was Vista. It sucked because I loved 2 and I really wanted to play it on PC. And I think I skipped
Yeah.
Vista for the longest time because Vista. And I mean, that's all I have to say. I feel like everybody got universal.
I just want to say that it's like Halo 2 is a great game. I hate the ending. God, I hate the ending.
I mean,
I didn't like two or
you didn't like 2
was it
twos?
2 or 3. The one that was like cartoony, a little more cartoony looking in the graphic style than.
Well, it's the scene where he's on the spaceship coming towards Earth, and they radio him. I was like, "What are you doing on that ship?" And he's like, "Finishing this fight." Cut to black, credits. I was expecting a whole nother fucking level.
I mean, you knew it was part of a trilogy already announced, so I wasn't surprised by that.
Yeah.
I don't. Not many people share this opinion with me, but I still think Reach was the best one, and everybody shits all over me for it. But I really, really liked Reach.
I mean, I would only yell at you more if you said that ODST was the best one.
Oh fuck yeah!
I'm kind of with you on that one there, Serial. I really liked Reach for a lot of reasons.
Oh, Reach is the first one to introduce that whole like, being able to freely move the camera around for the studio shit that they had in there.
Forge.
There's a lot of cool shit.
Forge, yeah.
Forge.
Yeah.
No, not Forge, because Forge was the level creator, right?
Yeah.
But there was like a free cam thing when you were actually playing the game where you could just go anywhere with the camera.
Oh yeah, to take like screenshots and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
No, the screeny thing, yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
I didn't
Like
really
it-
care enough about that.
But I think
one.
did Forge come out with Reach as well? I think was that one Forge.
It was either Reach or
introduced?
3, I
'Cause it
can't
wasn't in-
remember.
It was 3. It was
Was it
interesting.
Yeah,
three?
I couldn't
Okay.
remember.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, man.
Forge
I haven't
was
bought
so
a
much
Halo in forever.
They put out Forge for 4 on PC. Like you can go in and make.
Yeah, they do have Halo
Shit,
Forge on
play
its
it, why not?
on a standalone thing. And honestly, if you had enough people, you could play proper games on there. But you need to like have people who know you and are ready to play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I play the totally legitimate El Dorito, Russian.
It's gonna be El Dorito.
It is El Dorito, yeah. But it's guys, if you don't know that, it is a great little. It's like Halo 3 and like Halo Reach and Halo 2 levels, all in like this online game, and it's pretty great. Honestly, it's a lot of fun.
Last time I played it, they made it so you can have like private servers. and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
they had all that. I think that was in the 1.6 thing.
That's awesome.
It's pretty great. Hasn't been officially taken down. I know they made them stop hosting something, I think, but it's all like up and still available, and you can just download the launcher wherever because it's uploaded to like 3,000 places or whatever, and it all still works. So if you guys want a Halo experience on PC and don't want to wait for 343 to ruin it, go check that out. Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah. Not sponsored, and
See, I liked Halo 4.
I never played 4 and 5.
4 was alright. I
don't think I played 5.
I didn't like fighting the aliens that much, honestly. But like the Forerunners or whatever the crap they were, I don't even.
Yeah.
They were kind of just annoying to me at the time. But
And it was
wasn't a
definitely
bad-
4 was definitely different, but I don't necessarily think bad. Like, I
Well,
think a lot
4
of
was
it is
pushing more
different,
towards
bad.
that like Call of Duty like perk system kind of feeling versus the other ones. It was definitely more 343 trying to take it where the industry was going, and not really what made Halo, and it was keeping its own kind of thing going. Which I think is why a lot of people lost interest. Maybe it might be a good game if it didn't have the Halo name on it, but it changed so much that it didn't really feel like a Halo
See, it
game.
was still enough Halo for me to.
Ugh.
Like,
I agree.
it's not definitely even in the list, top Halo games, right? But it was.
Let me just put it
Well,
this way:
to be honest.
Wars is above that. ODST is above that.
I'll go fuck yourself.
I will fight for that one. Actually, I like the original Halo Wars, to be fair. I don't know about 2. But I like the original Halo Wars.
I like all the Halo games except for Wars.
You like ODST?
Yeah, I like ODST.
Filthy whore.
All right, guys, we're gonna switch this.
You don't like what I don't like, so that makes you bad.
It's like that. It's like that meme comic where the guy picks up a flag. Hey, where did I get this? And he sees the guy with the other flag. Hey, fuck that guy.
About sums up opinions on the
Pretty
internet.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't share my opinion, you're an asshole, sir.
Hey, SSHO, Cotton Strike,
But,
everybody.
Another slightly questionable sequel? Yeah, another slightly questionable.
Questionable seagull.
has come out.
Serial killer here with a questionable seagull.
Transactions.
Mine.
Yeah, so Devil May Cry 5 apparently has multiplayer and microtransactions. One of those is more
Multi-microtransactions.
exciting.
Multi-micro.
I'm very excited for DMC 5. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like 4, but I am a huge DMC fan. Granted, this is
4 was okay.
interesting. I don't know. I think the online, they haven't really released a ton of information. I mean, they released a little bit of information about the microtransactions, but as far as the multiplayer goes, I'm assuming it's going to be like a co-op kind of thing for mission, like because they always have like the Devil Tower things where you have to like run through and kill a bunch of enemies and get as many style points and stuff like that. I'm assuming it's like that, especially since I believe there's actually it's right here. It says they have a quote in here saying we've designed the game specifically to make it the best single player experience we can. So that's why I'm assuming it's really just going to be like once you beat that, you can go like team up and do like the Devil Tower with somebody who kind of person. But yeah, they have you're going to be able to buy those red orbs, which are in-game currency, using real currency.
Yay.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
in a hurry to spend my fucking money on fake money.
Do you guys
Yeah,
remember
no.
micro machines from the 80s?
Only
and
if you're about to
90s?
pull off the
Yeah.
voice.
You know what? It was just in my head, and I've lost it. He talks really fast, really fast. Like I'm gonna micro like I can't fucking be an auctioneer, but I think we need a micro machines game with shitloads of microtransactions. Like for every car, you got to pay like 80 cents.
You know what? I bet that would actually somehow just be an overnight success, knowing the.
Mhm.
I mean, all they would have to do is
Get the
actually
fast-talking
just
dude.
tie it up. We'll get the fast talking dude, tie it up with actual micro machines because they still exist. I've seen them in Toys R
They'll
Us.
send you them in the mail.
Well,
when you buy
I saw them in
the
Toys R Us, I
game.
should say. And I have my shit around here somewhere.
Too soon, dude. Too
Well, I
soon.
worked there. I was a supervisor there. Go fuck off.
Shedding a
Actually,
tear.
he's not. He's in use. They sold him off.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, he's for the Giraffe Preservation Society or something like that. He's now their mascot officially.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right then.
but
Times are tough in this economy.
listen, at least Jeffrey's still getting some use. But
Giraffe's got to do what a giraffe's got to do. man.
listen, those long necks are useful for more than one thing. Anyway, oh yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of getting laid.
Damn, you with all the segues.
It's actually not that funny.
That wasn't that good of a segue. I think everybody's expecting a much sexier story than is actually showing up.
Yeah. Capcom closed one of their offices, and 158 people are now.
That was not a good segue at all.
Yeah, that's why I kind of gave him that look as soon as he said it. I was like, "Excuse me." I know what the next story is. The hell just happened?
He was trying to do a wordplay and
Somebody
failed
at
miserably.
Capcom got fucked, didn't they?
I can't with this group of
Lord.
people. I can't.
Lord have mercy.
There is no mercy. There is only pain.
Yeah, they. Yeah. The fucking. What was it?
But yeah, the Vancouver studios behind the one behind the Dead Rising series specifically.
Dead Rising.
Which makes sense considering if anybody's looked at where Dead Rising has gone the past few games. Has closed their doors and laid off over 158 people. I'm gonna say 85. I got that backwards.
Once again, another game that wasn't terrible, but it wasn't Dead Rising, right? It's kind of like you were saying with the Halo thing, right? The last two, 3 and 4 both, right? They got rid of the whole, like, oh, you got to be here on fucking time thing, which was kind of Dead Rising's deal.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to. It's another one of those games that I think try to change with the industry too much. Where they tried to. It's you know, just like I said, like I was saying with Halo, where they switched to more of that like Call of Duty perk deck kind of thing. Versus it.
I still had fun with it. Where else could you kill zombies with a Lego head and a pair of underwear on? Right?
The original Dead Rising. And you could do it a lot more entertainingly.
Okay, where else can you kill high-resolution zombies with a Lego head and a pair of
The original Dead Rising HD.
Man. I went back and tried to play the original Dead Rising.
It was remastered.
Very well. Holy fuck, man. The original one, I have it on Steam. No bueno. Not AI fucking retarded. Lady's like, you know, you got to escort her back. Oh, zombies are trying to kill me, right? All right, escorting dumb bitch back to the mall. And every time you go to swing your bat or your guitar or whatever, jumps right in front of the fucking thing. And then wants to start shooting you because you hit her. I mean, it happened like 6 times and I just said, fuck this game.
Can I tell you, despite all the really entertaining memories I have from Dead Rising, the only thing I do for the first, like, 6 hours I pick that game up is run to the garage and drive that car back and forth 3 million times to get that achievement, to get the Mega Man Blaster and level up my character, and then I die, and then I restart. So I'm a high level with the Mega Man Blaster, and I just fuck shit up. But literally, like, I think back, and I'm like, I love that game, and then I'm like, sort of. Because all I remember for 6 hours was driving a car back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, so I could hit 39,000 kills.
At that point, you just turn it into Dynasty Warriors, and it's still fucking fun.
Dynasty Warriors
Dynasty
are such a little
Warriors.
guilty pleasure. Like, they're so terrible, but they're still a lot of fun. They're like
So
cathartic
good,
as fuck.
man.
I really want to pick up like Hyrule Warriors or whatever. I never got that.
So
Ooh,
good.
yes.
So good.
I need to get that.
I even have a Switch. I need to pick it up, man. I'm broke right now. So when the new job
It
starts,
comes with all the DLC and shit too. It's really good.
nice.
Go murder shit, dress as Tingle. I mean,
Ugh.
Tingle is Bay.
Ugh. Well, that's the podcast, everybody. I
Sounds like Sis is out.
Finally.
hated Tingle, man.
Tingle's the best part.
Creepy
Tingle is-
little
Tingle is
pervert.
like Sharknado, right? So bad he's good. Like
He creeped me out when I was a kid. He was like this tiny, fully grown guy with a beard that was like way too into a child. Like it was no bueno.
Hey, we know somebody like that.
Moving right along.
I'm sorry. Couldn't help
Wow.
myself.
It's a reference to somebody we kicked out of an old community, and he should not have brought it up on the podcast. It is getting removed when it's
I
edited.
know. I couldn't help myself.
Why you do this?
Impulse control. Don't have it.
I was gonna say you have none.
Clearly.
Anyway, do any of you play this next game? 'Cause I do not really. So
I did for a while.
you're
yeah.
probably more likely you're better to segue into it than I am.
All right. So, Hearthstone's adding like 4 new classic cards from back in the day, but in-game tournaments are on hold, and I find that to be interesting. I don't know why the tournaments are on hold, honestly.
Wonder if it's a balance issue or.
Yeah.
Well, they revealed their plans
know.
for the next couple months. Is they're doing some sort of big in the
I know
work
they-
update. I think they're like reworking a whole bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
they're like overhauling a lot of shit with that game because there was a lot of stuff
Okay.
that the community didn't like. So I think
Yeah.
they're probably just waiting on that.
Fair enough. I mean, it's one of those games that's fun. At least to me, it's fun for a while, and then you get to a point where you're like, okay, and then I grind to grind, and
That's the game I pick up
See,
Yeah.
every once in a while on like my tablet when I'm watching something downstairs on like Netflix or whatever on the Xbox or whatever, and I'll play around or whatever like haphazard. Like it's not something I focus on. It's like my ADD, attention divider kind of game.
See,
Yeah.
and I enjoy it, but the only time I ever play it when it's like, oh, win 4 games of fucking Hearthstone to get a horse in WoW or something in Heroes of the Storm. Or
Overwatch.
It's the only time I ever actually go play it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about the only time I'd really play it too.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it when I play it. It's like Heroes of the Storm. I really like that game, but the only time I ever seem to play it is when I can earn shit in other games.
Yeah, the only time I played that was for that Oni skin for Genji in Overwatch. I can honestly say that. I mean, I think I popped it up once or twice before to get like because I think they also had a loot box thing for Overwatch in there. But like, I'm not the biggest MOBA fan. That one's better than most. I think more because it's got characters I love, and I already associate with.
Well, and it's a little more simplistic, right? So I think like the community isn't super toxic with it. Although I've had some assholes in HOTS too. But,
although I gotta say, if we're talking about MOBAs, I tend to go more towards Smite. Just because I can sit back and like play that with a controller, and it doesn't feel as much like a MOBA. It feels like an action game that happens to be taking place in a MOBA. It's not like that. We have to min-max every move and stuff like that. It's just like you can go into that game and sit back and have fun. And people don't usually care unless you're in like higher tiers and then doing that. So, but generally I'm not the biggest MOBA fan. Although I like Awesome Knots because it also didn't really play like a MOBA. I like the MOBAs that aren't MOBAs.
I was about to say, so basically you don't like MOBAs, but you like MOBAs.
I do. Like, it's weird because, there's that. Obviously, I mentioned Smite. Monday Night Combat, which I don't think, Super Monday Night Combat as it is now, I don't think that's a thing anymore. It might still be. But that was another one that didn't...
yeah, they had a new one come out like maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's like the ones that like do a different take. And I think also it has something to do with the fact that I was really into the original Dota back in the day when it was still a Warcraft 3 mod. And I think I just kind of got, because we used to literally, like, a bunch of us would bring over, like, laptops or PCs, and we would LAN party it back in high school. And, like, I was super into it then. So I think I just, like, this childhood memory that I love became this, like, super toxic community later. So now I just want something that still has that kind of, like, relaxed, hang out with your friends and play a chill game kind of feel as a MOBA.
I get that. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's like me with Red Alert 2 or Command & Conquer Generals.
Red Alert 2. Oh, such good memories.
Command & Conquer, the game that, just went down the fucking toilet.
Play the mobile game today!
4? Oh, God.
I have it on here, actually. I haven't touched it yet, but it's downloaded just to see how bad it is. I haven't actually brought myself to play it, but it's sitting on here.
Dangerous jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like lower than a console peasant, you mobile peasant.
No, yeah, that's the thing with me. I'm always kind of like, I want to check out mobile game. You have to understand, I have like a 64, it might even be a 128 gig SD card in here. And I have probably like 40 gigs worth of games on here. I don't think I've touched any of them more than once, and most of them not even that. Like, I download them like, oh, maybe this is something I'll play when I have a free moment or whatever. And it's just like, no, I don't. And they just sit there. And because I have so much room on my phone, I never touch them. I never delete them because I don't need the extra space. So it's just like, honestly, I can go through.
Your phone is in...
It's just like, go through. These are all games. Those are all games.
The only thing I actually ever really played on mobile game-wise was like Fallout Shelter.
I didn't even really play that. I mean, I played that a little bit, but...
Shelter. That's pretty good.
I mostly honestly played that because I was really hyped for Fallout 4, which in the end, but just
Dude, you gonna get 76?
if I can afford it when it comes out, yes. I do want to play it. I love the Fallout universe. Like, I like Fallout 4 for the universe, but it just didn't really, because of all the stuff they added, it didn't have the same Fallout vibe. You know what I mean?
I found with Fallout 4 was a constant reliance on power armor.
It's funny. I never touched my power armor when I played that game. Like, I had it, I dropped it off at Sanctuary, and I don't think I looked at it again. I had like 30,000 power cores by the end of the game, and I was just like, I don't know. Oh, right, power armor.
My conundrum in a Fallout game period is like, I have to like have a mod that lets me. It's like Skyrim, right? I want to be able to keep everything. So just give me unlimited inventory space, and I'm a happy man.
You don't even need a mod. That's a console command.
man.
Is it? I see. There was a mod for 4 that I had installed for it, but I didn't realize you could do console. Because, yeah,
You can just console command your max carry weight to like obscene amounts.
I hate having to pick and
Action
choose
Man.
or like go back 50 times. I just want all the things.
Because you can totally carry all the things.
There was like a glitch when it first came out where like you could just keep on tossing unlimited shit on the ground and Dogmeat would just carry unlimited shit, and that was fine too.
Oh, Dogmeat had all sorts of glitches. Dogmeat had one of my favorite because you can get there's a in the vault you spawn in. They have the Cryolator, which I mean, for at the very beginning of the game, is a pretty powerful gun. It's not the greatest gun; they're obviously much better later on. But first coming out of the game, it's a pretty powerful little gun. And if you go get Dogmeat and then go back to the vault, you can tell him to search for a weapon, and he glitches the gun out of the master lock that it's in, and he just brings it over to you in his mouth, and he's like, "Here you go."
Nice.
I bit through this safe and grabbed you.
I fucking phase warped through this safe and got you a gun.
Eyes the goodest.
None of the ammo for it. Admittedly, none of the ammo.
No, they give
for
you the
it.
ammo. The Cryolator ammo's right there.
Speedruns of that game are fun to watch too, though. Like the whole like jumping on objects.
Oh, they've
thing.
always been like that, man. Have you ever seen Many a True Nerd do the old school, like the Fallout 3 in New Vegas like that? It's like you can get into and get the Brotherhood event within like literally if you beeline right there, you can be like 3/4 of the way done with the game in like the first 5 minutes. It's like ridiculous.
Well, was it
Wow.
3 where if you broke your legs, you actually ran faster?
I think so.
I think that's part of the speedrun strategy.
You ever see the one of my favorite speedruns is the one where they you can escape as a baby from Fallout 3 and like leave. So, but I don't know if you've ever seen it, but as a baby, because you never actually get to go into a third-person perspective, it's literally just your character shrunk down to about that big. Because Fallout likes to do that. So you're literally like this little midget dude running through the wasteland trying to get to the end. You can't pick up anything or use any weapon. You're just this little midget running through trying not to die.
That's
Well,
amazing.
I love in
That's
Fallout
amazing.
4 how you have the train in there, and
No, that was
instead of
that wasn't
actually
that was
programming a train-
that was in 3 actually. That was one of the DLCs.
was that in 3? Instead of programming a train, they just put a hat on an NPC that looked like a train, and then made him run really fucking fast.
They literally, they jumped up his run speed to like 300, and they put it on as a head armor slot, and they just had him go, so it looked like it was just you were moving like on a nice speedy train to another area.
What the?
Oh, because they got to work with this big engine that has to do all these sorts of things, so they found all sorts of crazy shortcuts that you would never know, except they released the full modding kit in the GEC, and then you get to poke all this stuff and be like, wait, that's how that works?
I mean, you could program a train, but that guy already knows how to get from point A to point B, right? So just give him a fucking train hat, man.
Train hat!
I need a train hat in my life, man.
Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
what, yeah, all those games that have hats need to have a train hat that just transforms your character into a big ass fucking train.
It's got to be
then
Thomas
somebody can
blasting the
suplex
theme
it.
song.
Somebody can
Oh,
come along
yes.
and suplex it, and it'll be awesome.
I'm just imagining Team Fortress 2 as a train running through. Choo choo, bitches.
I can't even remember what game that is, but there's a game where somebody suplexes an airplane. And it's like a AAA title, and I can't even remember for the life of me which one it is. But
Oh,
I think it's Xenoblade 1.
I didn't play the original Xenoblade, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's hit that final article there. Let's move away from suplexing planes.
All right.
There's 2 articles.
Is there 2? Did I miss one? Probably missed one.
There's 2 more.
I did miss one.
The next one is about Total War Rome 2 getting review bombed. That's fucking cool.
SJW bullshit going on right
Yeah,
here.
so essentially, people are review bombing because they're claiming that the increased amount of female generals in the game has caused everybody to hate them and start bombing them because I guess like the reverse of SJWs, the negative SJWs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
MJW's Man Justice Warriors.
Men Justice Warriors!
It's, I've played a lot of the Total War series. I played a lot of Rome 2, and this is a newer change with one of the expansion packs, but it's a 10 to 15% chance for most of the factions. Some of them have a 0% chance, and then like one has like up to a 50% chance. And first of all, boo-hoo that your pixelated general has tits. I'm so sorry that offends you.
I mean, that sounds like a better thing. You get a chance to watch tits while you play. What's the fucking problem?
Right.
The only games where I like understand this kind of argument is in games that like strive for realism, right? And unless you're that game, shut the fuck up.
Well,
like,
and there's two things here. Is that Total War, they do aim for a certain level of historical accuracy, but there were female generals back then. I mean, one of the most famous is Boudica. You know, the fucking
which would
Celtic
be a great
badass.
stripper name.
What was that? Oh, God. My brain just processed what you said. But another great argument, and they actually made this argument, the people, Creative Assembly, said, if you don't like it, just mod it out of the game. Because modders have modded, like, everything about these fucking games. So, this is just sad to see a decent game getting review bombed like this over...
I don't really like the whole, like, thing, period. Even if you have a legitimate gripe with a game, going to Steam or whatever, and giving it a negative thumbs down review for that one thing. Like, when I go to Steam, I want to know, is the gameplay good? I don't want to know if a bunch of SJWs or MJWs have a fucking problem. Like, I just...
Yeah.
It's just that's more of an issue, or an overwhelming problem with the internet as a whole, where, you know, now we have this like platform where we band together and like convince each other that these are bigger problems than they are, or whatever, and like we destroy companies and game developers and stuff like that over something that we are personally taking offense to, and not based on the content of said, you know, creators, games, whatever.
There's a certain percentage of the internet that's just not happy unless they're unhappy, right? Like, they've got to have something to be pissed off about every day, or they're pissed off. Like, that's what it comes down to.
It's really true.
Yeah, I'm personally happy. I think Go Creative Assembly, especially after the Battlefield, what was it, Battlefield 5?
It was a 5 or I think it was 1, wasn't it?
5.
Was it? Yeah, it was 1.
Yeah.
Having women in World War 1 or 2 or whichever, it's a game.
I mean, if Call of Duty can have zombies in World War One, I mean, I think we can have some.
You could have zombies where you're literally like playing with freaking like Burt Reynolds and like just all the ridiculous people, the presidents of like the past, and just like, if they can go that weird, batshit crazy, think you can allow a couple of pairs of tits into your game? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be sexist. Obviously, I don't call women that. I just want to say it's a generalization.
But I demand realistic boob physics. All right,
listen. I'm only allowing the Total War people to put women in the game if they get Team Ninja on the physics of that. Okay.
Speaking of physics and naughty bits, I saw an article earlier this week about on Red Dead Redemption 2. The horse's balls.
Oh yeah,
real physics.
Yeah, I heard about that.
What?
They're like Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know what it is. I guess it didn't really stick out as a part of me, or like a main part of the game to me. I mean, it did to an extent, but not as much as they're focusing on. But it seems like no, the animals are like the main focus of like what they're revealing information about and like what they're focusing on, because all they've been releasing information is like the physics on the animals, and there's over 200 different types of animals, and you can do this with the animals and that with the animals, and it's like, yeah, there was like, you know, hunting jaguars and riding horses and doing this and that in the other game, but like, that wasn't why I thought the game was fucking cool.
So
that was just a part of it.
I'm going to bring up the same question I had when we talked about on a previous show, Max, about in Grand Theft Auto 5, right? They show Trevor's balls in that too. And so, first of all, I want to know, is it the same guy? Do they just have a balls guy that works at Rockstar?
Could you imagine putting that on as your resume? I have modeled over 37 types of balls.
On their resume, and I would love to walk in there and see that guy's workstation. and just be like, what the
I wouldn't.
fuck is going on there? Like,
I bet you he just has like.
oh, yeah,
I bet you he
he's
just.
excited about it. Like, I've got these realistic balls. You've got to.
No, I bet all he's got
No,
is
no,
like a cubicle full of those those tow truck balls.
Oh,
Yeah, the truck nuts.
Jesus.
No, they would more than likely outsource to a male adult film star.
Like, just title like VP of balls or something like that.
Listen, I'm no expert, but I feel like horse balls are a little bit different than male porn star balls, just as a matter of species. He needed to study some sort of source material for that. I want to know, does he go in incognito mode when he's looking up his resource material for that is my question. Is he afraid of the FBI, curious about why he keeps looking for horse balls all day?
Did he have to have him shut off the web filter at work so he could do his research? Like, I swear, guys, this is for work.
Swear!
I'm searching horse balls, but it's for
Maybe he
work.
just got caught one day, and then he's like, no, I'm programming realistic ones in the game. Yeah, that's it.
And now we have horseball physics. Thanks.
What the hell was that? Oh, I'm not even. Never mind.
I don't even think I want to know.
I just. Okay.
Moving along from the balls. Yeah.
So, THQ Nordic has bought up a couple more properties. Because we talked about it last week, how they bought up the...
Kingdoms of MLR.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. So they've picked up Alone in the Dark and Active War.
I don't know much.
Wasn't the last Alone in the Dark game completely shit?
Well, they made
where
a
you
sequel
weren't
to it.
alone Or in the dark.
They made a sequel to that one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
was who did they pick it up? Was it Atari? I think it was. They had it from.
It was Atari.
Yeah.
It was Atari.
And that was terrible.
That was when
The
Atari
old
was, like,
school
selling
Alone
out
in the
anything
Darks
to
were
anybody.
great, and I would love to see it and it go back to that old feeling. And I'm talking about like old school Alone in the Dark when you were the fucking
Yeah, like the
giant
first one.
pipe smoking, twirly mustache
The new one-
motherfucker going around in this
The new
house.
one was multiplayer, and
That seems like the
had a lot
opposite
to
of
do
Alone
with
in the Dark.
staying in the light. Yeah, like you had to stay in the light, so it was like together in the light. Like it was fucking stupid.
That does seem a little contradictory. Just a little bit.
They kind of missed their own fucking name, I guess.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
At that point,
Yeah.
they should have just called it Pitch Black, right? 'Cause it's the same fucking plot.
Pretty much.
But Pitch Black did become Pitch Black at the end of the movie.
That, and then, yeah, it was a good
Yeah, you
movie.
can't argue that.
Listen, I just want to say,
There was a really good Pitch Black game back in the day.
I just want to say, I really hope Alone in the Dark becomes something better, because between the last couple of games made by Atari and the fucking god-awful Ubo movie that we never speak of, it has been abused enough, okay? It has been kept in the basement and chained and whipped. We need to let it see the light and breathe, and we need to let it have time to recover.
You know what else we need from Atari? Pac-Man the movie.
They've already threatened that. I feel like
If
Pixels...
they can do Tetris, they can do Pac-Man.
I mean, they
okay?
haven't done Tetris, so...
He's just a big yellow guy that's addicted to pills, and just give me a movie about that.
No. Make that yourself. Make a YouTube Red premiere of Pac-Man the movie, man.
I feel like that'll be a Netflix
The
exclusive.
opiate epidemic.
Yeah, I never played Alone in the Dark or Active War.
I know nothing about Active War. Any of you guys played it?
I've never even heard of it.
I've never played.
I know it was an old school RTS game, but like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been...
That's about all I know.
Oh, it's in here. Yeah, it hasn't... It was from 2005. I'm surprised they picked that up, honestly.
Like PC RTS or like shitty console RTS?
I believe it was a PC.
Okay.
Apparently-
That was probably back in the day before they thought they could put RTS games on or on console.
Yeah, it's from 2005. It was based on the writings of Dale Brown, some novelist.
I'm
Alright.
a little frightened to see where THQ is going, because they've sucked up a lot of good IPs. I mean, well, good IPs. They sucked up Alone in the Dark, which used to be a good IP, then was terrible. They sucked up Kingdoms of Amalur, which I love. Time Splitters, Second Sight. They've been distributing Super Lucky's Tale, which is a great little platformer game. For those of you who don't know, it is like the Modern Conquerors, way better than like Ukulele or anything was. They have a lot of cool things, but they also have a lot of shit things. And I'm just wondering which studio, which part of the company these games are going to go to.
Yeah.
Or if they're just going to be one of those,
Yeah.
gonna go.
we suck these up and stick them in the wayside, and maybe we'll make a cameo of them in one of our other games kind of thing.
They're gonna go back to their roots and just make shitty games again.
Terminator was the best. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like I said, I don't even know if that was fucking.
I don't remember.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're really good at ending, and definitely not awkward at all.
Rename it to the Yak House. Yeah, we just,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That'll be
incredibly agreeable gentleman.
It'll just be a live stream where I scroll through the article slowly on screen, and then we just go, We'll all read it
Oh, that's
with like a 30-second delay, and that's it.
Utter that'll do every once in a while.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. But yeah, so that has been Mindless Banter, episode 3. We will be back next week. This will be uploaded as well to the SoundCloud. I have just found out, by the way, earlier today, that apparently the last 2 episodes, which are uploaded, apparently SoundCloud likes to, or pushes a publish by date, and I didn't notice that, so they're uploaded, but they're not actually available. So I apologize. That'll be fixed later. Because apparently they're made for like music people, so they can put their music up on there early and have it released on a certain day. And I didn't see that option when uploading things because I don't know SoundCloud that well. So the more you'll know. First one is going up.
You need like 8 hours of mindless bullshit to listen to. You'll be able to do that all in one go.
Plus, I've been researching. I've been looking into it, and we're probably going to be able to get, assuming we get approved, our stuff up on iTunes as well as Spotify. So fingers crossed, as long as the approval thing goes through. First one, it will be up there as well. It's going to be very unedited because it wasn't run through Voice Meter Banana.
Audacity.
Well, that's being run into Audacity, but it wasn't run through Voice Meter. So it for whatever reason, when it like pulled it from Twitch, it like if you try to edit it, it messes with all the audio and drops the quality down dramatically. Unfortunately, so you're gonna have to deal with our derps on that one. But we're learning. It's a learning process. We're getting better. Say we. I'm doing all the work, fuckers. But thank you guys so much for sharing.
Hey, I did some work. I did work.
These are fall colors. I'm coordinating, bro.
Bitch, in what world is blue a fall color?
Look it up. Navy blue is a fall
Dude,
color.
your fucking eye turns black and blue when you fall down, so you can fuck off with that shit.
Thank you, Cereal.
That was terrible.
See, shirt's black too, so I mean, he's got his shit together.
So he is the bruise of our podcast. I get it. Anyway.
Thanks.
Someone's got to bring some color.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you do suck all of it out of the stream. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Like I said, this will be out. We will see you guys next week, hopefully. Or if not, we will see you whenever the hell you decide to download and listen to our podcast. Anyways, you guys all have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You too, Cereal. Say the thing.
Oh, see you later, assholes.